noise. I'm so sorry. But, this is Cute and Cozy Sweethearts, a simple, snuggly coloring book by Harry Alexander. Unwind in a world of cute and cozy characters with this simple and sweet coloring book. This has all sorts of beautiful, cute illustrations. I'm so excited to hopefully color all of these with you guys. This first page I was kind of using as a test to see what sorts of materials I could use. So the faces and I guess the bow of these darling little penguins were done in acrylic marker. And while that didn't bleed through, it was not the most satisfying to use, especially if you are like me and you struggle a little bit to stay within the lines. Like if you have issues with fine motor skills. So I wasn't too keen on using those. But I do have a lot of acrylic markers. Like I have a bunch of, well, honestly, unlabeled acrylic markers. And also some Prismacolors and some Sharpies and some Art Skills markers. So that's what I'm going to be using. But my apologies. I do have these two really thick pieces of paper. To be honest, I think just one should be enough. Let's test it. Let's test to see if just one will be enough. Let's do this orchid color. Just to test to see if one is enough. To be completely honest, I haven't used like markers or any like similar type of product for coloring in a while. In the past few years, have become very well acquainted with watercolor, and I've been using these acrylic paint markers as well lately. But that's about the only things I've been coloring with. So I don't remember all of the correct techniques for using alcohol markers. I probably should have just seen if I had like colored pencils or something, but there's something so much more satisfying about the way these color in. Okay, that one seemed really watery, so it was a great test subject. Did it bleed through to the back? It clearly went through this. So I think just one sheet should be enough, but if, I don't know, I'd rather be safe than sorry, because again, these illustrations are so stinking cute, but also, I think we should be good with just one sheet of paper. That's just me though. Okay. We have protected the bottom image. Excuse me. This is the page that we are going to be coloring. We have these two darling little kitties, little kitties, little kitties, little kitties, little kitties, little kitties. And they're having a little game night of sorts. So let's see what color I want to do these kitties. I have in this bag some Sharpies. I should have tested the Sharpies. 1 second. Okay, the Sharpies are good. They actually bleed through way less than I thought they were gonna. So, didn't mean to bonk you. Okay, so what colors do we want to do these cats? This one looks like a little calico. Okay, I'm a liar. I don't actually know cat breeds, so don't quote me on that. But we have this color. This could be nice. Let me see if I have like a piece of paper where I can test this. We're gonna use this as a test sheet. That's the color. I do kind of like it, but I don't know if I like it for that specific cat. Okay, wait, no. I will do that color for this cat. Because I want to make this one orange. Okay. But do I do that as the spots, or do I do that as like a main color and then I go a darker brown? Okay, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay. So I think just this is where that cat is. Part of me wants to like go put on headphones and listen to music while I do this, and then just do voiceover commentary. But at the same time, I'm like, meh. I kind of just wanna babble while I color. And that's the experience that I'm going to deliver to you all today. I am going to leave the paws wide. Okay, I know earlier I said it reminded me of a calico. You'd think I'd never seen a calico in my fucking life, but wobbly. I'm kind of just playing it by ear. However I feel like coloring these is how I'm gonna color them. So I apologize if that really bothers you. I know there are some people who like really need things to be colored in a specific way, or it like stresses them out. Yeah. This is such a cute little kitty. I just wanted to double check because I was worried. I think these types of brush tip markers are so satisfying. The only downside to me doing such a dark color there is there was like a little itty bitty line underneath the eyebrow, and it kind of gets covered up, but I don't know, I like our chocolate covered kitty. That's what they look like. I don't know why, but I just thought of Cookie Swirl C. Does anyone remember Cookie Swirl C? Is anyone watching this video like of the age that they would have watched Cookie Swirl C? I haven't checked YouTube analytics in a while, so I have no idea what age range my audience is. For all I know, my audience could be mostly 34-year-old men or whatever. Or my audience could be like 12-year-old girls. Truly, there is no telling. Oh my gosh, I want to dress this little kitty in like purple and pink. Yes, that is what we're doing. We're dressing this little kitty in purple and pink. Okay. Purple and pink for this kitty. And then for this kitty, I don't know what colors we're doing yet. I haven't gotten that far. I haven't made it that far ahead in the thinking process. I'm thinking these two colors go together kind of nicely. Orchid and fuchsia. We could do orchid for the main color of the little pajamas. Sorry, my nose was itchy. And then we can do fuchsia for, don't roll too far now, for the little bow, And then maybe, do I have a darker purple in here somewhere? We do violet for like little accent marks here and there, like on the sleeves. Okay. Yes, that is what we're doing. That is absolutely what we're doing. Okay. Excuse me. I forgot what I was talking about earlier. I have zero recollection. I know I was about to go on some kind of tangent, but I don't remember what exactly I was gonna say. I really hope my voice picks up when I'm whispering like that, because to be completely honest with you, I've never actually checked. I've just kind of been sitting and hoping that it all works out. That is how most of my videos are made. I have been wanting to like do some more higher quality stuff. Like, I have a few ideas planned out for some more like, I guess, horror themed ASMR, where I do like some Magnus Archives themed videos. I think the first one I'm gonna do, I have plans for a video on the spiral. And I also have plans for a video on corruption. I'm very excited for the video about the corruption because in that video I'm gonna like pretend to be a like super sickly ill cult member. I don't know why I'm so excited about it. I think I'm just excited at the idea of creating something kind of unique and something that I know would stress me out. I don't know. Horror content is so interesting to me as someone who is studying psychology and also as someone who used to I used to hate horror content. Like, when I was younger, I could not comprehend the idea of someone wanting to be scared. I didn't like horror games. Okay, well, except for FNAF for some reason. I liked Five Nights at Freddy's, but not other horror games. I didn't understand why people would watch horror movies. I didn't understand why people went to haunted houses, because I was like, well, you're gonna get scared. What's the point of going to a place where you get scared? But I think I get it now. It's also like really interesting to look into what sorts of things make us afraid and why. Like a lot of body horror and horror that deals with autonomy, it's very easy to see why something like that could be scary to somebody. I don't know if this is their other leg, but I'm going to assume it is. So if it's not, I'm so sorry. But there's little kitty's cute purple pajamas. I feel like maybe I should have done the collar pink, but it's too late now. I'm gonna do a little stripe. Okay, that one's kind of crooked. Oh, that's so cute. I apologize for the sound I made, but it really is so stinking cute. I'm obsessed. Wait, I really like this. But the first fear that I'm gonna do is going to be the spiral. I almost said the stranger, and then I was like, no, that's not at all the next fear that I'm doing. I feel like that color is a little too hot pink compared to the purple that we used. And now I kind of wish I had picked a different color. I still think it looks cute. Whatever. I wonder if I have like a cute little cream color. Oh my gosh. I'll look for later. Right now, however, I want to do this little kitty. Let's see. See about finding some orange markers. This one's not orange, but I'm setting it aside so that I don't reach for it. I'm like taking away the option so that I can increase my chances of pulling for something good. Okay, so that's carmine red again. I don't want carmine red. I want orange. be completely honest, these markers are kind of old. So it's very possible that I've like lost some over the years or that they've dried out. Any number of things could have happened. Okay. I have these ones. Let's test them real quick to see which one I like most. This one is the only one listed as like just orange. Hold on, I'm gonna do something to help myself a little bit. Okay. Oh, sorry, I put that down a little harshly. I'm gonna move the markers that I've already used in the drawing into a little basket that's next to me. I hope it wasn't too loud, but okay. We're gonna test this orange. Am I crazy or is that orange kind of red? I think that orange is kind of red. A little too red for me. I think this one has a similar issue, but I do like this one a little bit more. I think this one might be closest to what I want, or not. What the hell? Maybe I have to wait for them to dry up a bit first. And then this one's not orange, but I wanted to use it as like an accent color. It is, I almost dropped it. Apricot. That might be a bit too similar to the other brown. Well, actually, no, it's not. Okay, let's see. This was the sun orange. This was the Prismacolor orange. I like the Prismacolor orange. So I guess I'll use that one. Excuse me. I actually don't like this color that much. I don't know. Maybe I'll make him a solid color. Let's actually have a look at the Carmine Red real quick just to see if maybe that can be an accent color. Oh, that is way too red though, isn't it? No, we're not going to use that as an accent color. Yeah, I think he's just, our boy is going to be solid orange. Just for the sake of making it easier for myself. We've been here for 24 minutes, and I've only colored one cat. But I don't want to rush it. I feel like a big part of coloring videos is that it's kind of slow. You get to take the time to really enjoy the process of coloring. I think for this character, I want to do more blues for the outfit. Just because I think that would be like a nice contrast. And then the outfit would also be a cool color, like with this kitty. Genuine question, guys. Do you think these two kitties, do you think they are boyfriends / girlfriends / partners? Or do you think they're just friends? What's your take on them? What do you think their relationship is? Maybe something interesting that I could do while coloring these is like try to cook up a story or my interpretation on those characters, because I don't know, I like to run my mouth, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for me, unfortunately for the viewers, that being you guys. started off as just really good friends, and they realized that they were so close that maybe they should just be together. And this is them having a cute little, like, date night. Sorry that I have to swallow so often. I don't know why I make so much saliva. But, again, damn. I think, I'm not even gonna lie to you, this kitty feels very they-them to me. They-them kitty. As for this other kitty, I don't know. This one feels like a more mask-presenting kitty somehow. I don't know. Maybe we should come up with names for them. Who knows? If you are watching the video and like paying close enough attention to it, and if you haven't fallen asleep already, although I doubt someone could fall asleep in just 28 minutes. Actually, let me not say that, because it's very possible. What would you name these two kitties? I can't explain it, but the orange kitty feels like weirdly enough, like either a Sam or an Ethan. And then the brown kitty, I don't know. I feel like their name would be Tulip. If you disagree, please let me know. Okay, I take it back. Orange kitty is definitely a Sammy. Not Sam, not Samuel. Sammy. And he insists on everyone calling him Sammy. Yep. So this one is Sammy, and this one is Tulip. I can't wait until a few episodes from now, when I am thinking of what to name another critter, and then I have no fucking clue what to name, and I end up accidentally naming one of them Sammy or Tulip. That'll be a fun experience. Is this a tail? I don't know. I want to say that's a tail, so actually, and this is where the bucket comes in handy. I'm gonna get this color that we had previously. Oh, yellow ochre. I haven't even the faintest of clues how you pronounce that, to be honest with you. But we're gonna use this and just go to the tail, because I'm going to assume that that is a tail. I really like this coloring book because I feel like it has a lot of like bigger, easier to look at and fill in pieces, as well as some of the more like itty bitty intricate pieces. Like, I feel a lot of adult coloring books, and this one isn't like expressly marketed as like an adult coloring book or a kid's coloring book. It's just a coloring book. But I feel like a lot of adult coloring books do the this thing where it's just a bunch of really teeny tiny spots and patterns and whatnot. And there's nothing against that style. I think it's a very cool style. But I'm someone who doesn't have very good fine motor skills, even as someone who draws a lot. And so it's kind of hard for me to do those sorts of coloring books, even though I've always really liked the idea of using coloring as a way to relax. But I've just never really been able to get into those. I'm genuinely so surprised at how little is actually making it onto this sheet of paper. But I forgot what color I had for a second. That's okay. We can round out that shape a little bit. I really like these sorts of coloring books where it's like you have lots of bigger, more open spaces. But then you also have some of the more intricate tiny parts. I think I already said that. See, I'm kind of tired. Which means I've reached the stage where my body is trying to shut down, but I'm forcing it to stay awake. And so I just kind of start spouting random bullshit. I'm sorry for swearing. My apologies, but it's true. Okay. And then I wanted like a softer blue color. Ow. Okay, so that's just the same color. It truly is just the same color. Or maybe I'll go the opposite direction and do a darker blue. Oh, maybe that would be nice. Yeah, sure, with that, why not? We're gonna do powder blue for the little slippers. I hope my coloring style doesn't look too childish. But even then, I think it's okay to do childish things every now and then. I mean, I think regressing is a genuinely valid way to deal with stress and that sort of thing. And even if you aren't someone who regresses, doing things that are perceived as, oh my gosh, I can't freaking speak, doing things that are perceived as childish is not like some morally apprehensible thing that you should never be allowed to do. I think it's actually like super normal to want to do kind of softer, more childish things. Like wanting to color or collecting like toys and stuff and playing with toys. Again, not that collecting toys is childish. Or playing with toys. Well, I guess it's kind of childish, but that doesn't mean it's a bad. Wait. Part of me kind of wants to leave the rest of the shirt white. Does that look cute, or is it like fugly and you hate it? No, I kind of like that, actually. We'll do it like that. I'm gonna have a really interesting time trying to keep track of what I use to color what. We're doing the pants in seafoam green. But anyway, I think people should be allowed to like whatever the hell they want. And I think so long as they are not that so many people forget. Because I truly and honestly, what you do to help yourself calm down is 100% valid, so long as you are not hurting yourself or anybody else. Because your safety is important too. Regardless of whether you think it is or not. I'm gonna switch to the bigger side. Maybe I should do positive affirmations while I do this. Okay, I kind of wish I didn't switch to the bigger side. We're actually switching back. Yep. I know, crazy. I immediately regretted my decision. That's okay. Maybe I can make it look intentional. Maybe I can't, and that's okay too. It's okay to make mistakes. Because mistakes are a part of what makes us human. Granted, other things can make mistakes too. Like, mistakes aren't an, objectively human trait. But I do think that how uniquely flawed we are as a species is so fascinating. Because nothing in this world will ever be truly perfect. And that's, I don't want to say that that's by design, because I don't want to impose any philosophies on anybody else. Ooh, this is a cute color. Maybe we can. I apologize for getting distracted easily. I have a very short attention span. It's that damn phone. I know. Sorry, I'm laughing at my own joke. But, yeah, no, I completely lost my train of thought. Don't you just hate when that happens? When you're sitting down, minding your business, having a pleasant old time, a grand old time even, and then all of a sudden, bam, your train of thought is gone. It's like you've never had a thought ever in your life. And you sit there and you go, what the hell? That's not fair. I know that I was thinking of something on the tip of my tongue, but I just can't seem to get it to click. This is the color combo. Okay, this is the color combo. For the blanket, I want to do it in pink. I wanted to do this little smiley guy. Should we do him in neon yellow? Hold on. Yeah, what the hell, why not? Let's do the little smiley guy in neon yellow. Little emoji fella. Alright. What's your stance on... I was gonna say clackles versus emojis, but clackles and emojis are so different from each other. Because I was gonna say, when you see a smiley face, do you immediately think in your head, oh, a clackle? Or do you think, oh, an emoji? I'm so curious. Well, I think the smiley ones are technically gigglers and not clackles. See, in my head, I do this unfortunate thing where I'm like, okay, well, they're all from Clackle Land, aren't they? And while that is true, gets very upset at the thought that people can never tell the difference. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. Not the hiccups, what the hell is it called when you're gassy, I guess is what it's called. But there's probably someone out there who really wishes people would learn the difference between glaggles and gigglers and smilers and all that. And not to mention now with everybody, well, not everybody, people who are like big into Minecraft horror or whatever, probably also add to the Glaggle Land confusion and are referring to smiley faces as Verity. Now, me, I do like Verity, but when I first saw him, I was like, oh my gosh, it's a Glaggle. I think he would be a giggler though, wouldn't he? I don't know. Again, I'm tired and now I'm just kind of saying random stuff. Whatever comes to mind. And I would always refer to him, when talking about him to my friends, as a Glaggle. And they genuinely thought his name was just straight up Glaggle. And I was like, oh, okay, my bad. I hope that sound was more enjoyable than polarizing. No, that's not the word I wanted. Enjoyable than upsetting. I don't know. What I was thinking in my head was certain marker sounds are very polarizing because they can sometimes be kind of squeaky. And I know a lot of people don't like that. Sometimes I don't like how squeaky markers can be. And I wish they were less squeaky. Have any of you guys seen Spider-Man Brand New Day yet? I'm not gonna spoil anything about it. Sorry, I'm retying my hair. That's why I'm not coloring right now. Ow. Might as well pop my back while I'm here. Ow. Okay, there we go. But in Spider-Man Brand New Day, there is this scene where they're showing a paper bag, not a paper bag, it's like a plastic chip bag being blown across a rooftop, right? But oh my gosh, the way they do the sound for that scene is so insanely good, and I felt so seen by it because as this bag is going across the rooftop, a sound that to the average person is probably super quiet, super unassuming, a very oh, you wouldn't even think about it kind of sound, especially in a busy city. But the way they frame the shot and the way they make it, they put a bass behind the bag rustling or something to make it seem like it is the loudest thing, and the whole theater shakes a little bit. I was genuinely awestruck because I've seen there are a lot of TV shows and media and whatever that have tried to do their takes on neurological disorders and whatnot, and genuinely, unironically, one of the best takes of what overstimulation feels like I've ever seen in my life was from freaking Spider-Man. Not to diss on my boy, I think Spider-Man is genuinely one of the coolest superheroes. Mostly because of the concept of anyone can wear the mask. sometimes Spider-Man feels like a big metaphor for lots of other things. I know lots of transgender people see themselves in Spider-Man, but also lots of neurodivergent people see themselves in Spider-Man too. And I think a lot of it comes from the idea of the mask. And, you know, fighting with your identity. Having some people call you one thing, other people call you another thing. Behaving different ways with the mask on and off. I don't know, it's like, I wish I were more awake to have this conversation. Because genuinely, it is so fascinating to me. Just how many people are able to see themselves in Spider-Man. Especially with the whole, anyone can wear the mask, anyone can be a hero. I think Spider-Man is a huge inspiration to lots of people. And there's like a great message, a great message tied to his name. With great power comes great responsibility, that sort of thing. I do think Spider-Man sometimes gets used as he gets used as propaganda a lot, and that I do not like. But alas, Marvel as a whole has lots of propaganda. Lots of superhero stuff has propaganda, to be honest. And also, I saw a really interesting take on superheroes who have a no-kill rule, where it's like, they think that's something that's being drilled into people to make them more merciful towards, people who are abusing them and harming them and all that. And I was like, I literally have never thought of it that way, but that's such a fascinating take. And honestly, it could be seen as true. Because, Spider-Man has every right to beat the brakes off of some of his enemies. And truly and honestly, every right in the world to beat the brakes off of people. How many times in the comics has, Aunt May or Uncle Ben died, and he loses his shit or whatever, and nearly kills someone. Doesn't kill them, but nearly does. But I guess it's okay. I think there are definitely some moments where Spider-Man deserved to have killed at least one person. But, I did kind of find that a fascinating take on the whole no-kill rule that superhero movies seem to have. My scalp is really itchy, I'm so sorry. I think I'm gonna do blush. Or is blush too similar? Blush might be too similar to this pink color. Okay, we're not gonna do blush. Maybe we will. No. We're gonna do this color. This color doesn't have a name. I really wish Sharpie would, have names for colors. Maybe they do, and I just don't know. Am I ignorant to the Sharpie color list? I have a question, guys. Would you like to see videos of, videos like this where it's just me doing artwork and you guys kind of join me to watch. And on the subject of that, would you like more of this just coloring stuff? Or would you also like sketching and explanations while I do the sketches and whatnot? Like, for example, say I'm doing a drawing about one of my OCs, and actually, while I have this color out, there's a loud ass car outside at this hour. What was I about? Alright, let's say I'm doing an artwork about one of my OCs. Would you guys prefer if it was like a no talking? I just sit there and draw and you listen to the pen sounds. Or would you want like a me talking while I do it kind of thing? Like I'm explaining to you my art process, or I'm talking to you about the character. Okay, I might bring back this dark brown so that I can pair it with, was it copper or was it a different color that I had? I think it was apricot. Rants. Actually, maybe I'll do copper and apricot. For this pillow back here. Yep. Found it. But anyway. Genuinely, one of my favorite types of videos to record is ones where I'm just kind of doing something and then I bring you along for the ride. You, the viewer. And yes, usually during these videos I'm doing a lot of like mindless rambling, but I'm curious if you guys would prefer, like, maybe if I was doing this but then also reading poetry over it, or maybe I'm sitting here coloring and then I've overlaid audio of me like coming up with a story for this. It'd probably take a little more time than these like really simple, hey, I'm gonna color, come watch me color style videos. I missed a spot. But I do think it could be interesting. Like, I started reading the Iliad, I think, excuse me. I started reading the Iliad in a previous video. We only read book 1 of the Iliad. I have to get around to reading. Okay, there we go. I have to get around to reading the rest of the Iliad. And then the Odyssey afterwards. But what I was going to ask was, would you prefer if I read those books while playing a video of me coloring in the background, so that you have something, so that there's like an interesting visual component to focus on, while also being able to like listen to the audio, like an audiobook? But the issue with that comes from, okay, well, I have 2 issues Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, and I really want to read that. I kind of want to read it for videos because I think it'd be freaking sick. But if I did do that style of video, in the way I was describing to you, I'd probably be doing these coloring pages. So it'd be, imagine it this way, I would be coloring this in, but then I would also be reading Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, which, like, probably doesn't seem too crazy to anybody. But I guess what I want to know is, would it be too jarring for me to be coloring cute kitties while reading Frankenstein? Same with the Iliad. If I'm sitting here coloring puppies and bunnies while reading the Iliad, would that be like, would there be too much disconnect between the story being read and the art being colored? These loud ass cars are gonna piss me off. Is that person driving a fucking plane? My goodness. Anyways, I forgot if fire gets lighter the further down. I think it does. Get ready for me to make some absolute, goodness me, so sorry for almost knocking you over. Some absolute BS is what I was gonna say. But then the camera decided that it was time. Real quick, I'm gonna do the little tongue on this little guy. I should do the mouths on the other two. Maybe I'll use that pink card that I had earlier. If I can freaking find it. Here it is. Is that cute? Yeah, that is. But anyway, I know I keep asking you too many questions and being like, please tell me this or that, but like, I genuinely want to know, because I am, of course, just starting out doing ASMR, and I want to know what sorts of things people do or don't like in ASMR videos, because I know that there are for sure some things that I like that I know other people might not like, and vice versa. Excuse me. But I care for other people's opinions. I know, how dare I? But it is kind of important because while yes, I do ASMR more as like a hobby, I would like to get at least a few views, you know, just to know that even though I'm to know that I'm not just throwing these out into the ether for, you know, I think I've completely lost the plot. Oh my gosh, I need to go to bed. I need to go to bed so bad. I have to drive tomorrow. is this it? No, that's pink. I promise you guys, I am not colorblind. I have to get a bag. Carmine red. There have been lots of rummaging sounds in this video.
I hope that you are someone who enjoys rummaging sounds and not someone who gets like whose blood boils at the thought of rummaging sounds, you know. I'm always worried about that when I'm making a video. I'm worried that like somehow I'm gonna do a trigger and the video is gonna end up in the hands of like the one person in the world who despises that trigger. Like, maybe I go to do tappies, like tapping on stuff, and like somebody who hates tapping so much that it actually sends them into a fit comes across my video and they're like, hey, this is ass. You should delete your channel right now. You gotta get rid of it. You gotta get rid of it right now. You are no longer permitted to have a YouTube channel. I'm actually going to make it my life's goal to make sure you don't have a platform anymore. Like, that's what I'm scared of happening every time I post. And I know that's like unrealistic. I accidentally colored myself. I know it's unrealistic to think that there is someone out there who cares enough about the content that I post to tell me to hop off of the platform and never post again. Especially when I've like pretty much just started out. But it is one of my fears. Another thing I like about markers is that sometimes when they don't like correctly blend together, it kind of looks like watercolor. I really like watercolor. I have a lot of friends who okay, well, not just friends, but like peers or whatever in general, who don't like watercolor because of how unruly it is and the fact that it doesn't like to behave. But I genuinely think that's one of watercolor's strengths. The key to getting good at any art material, other than practice, because practice is of course one of the most important things ever, but to me, other than practice, the key to getting good at any art material is playing into its strengths. For example, watercolor is a very free-flowing, if you will, art form. And so, your instinct when doing an artwork is going to be, oh, it needs to be perfect. Oh, I want this to match the image that's in my head. Watercolor does not give a flying fuck about the image you have in your head. And that's weirdly refreshing, you know, to think that, oh, no matter what I do, this specific art form is always going to be unruly with me. It does not like me. It is not my friend. Well, it is your friend. It's just your very eccentric friend. And you need to let it be free, you know? You cannot go into watercolor. Oh my gosh. My inability to speak progresses. I just got a really strong ringing in my ear. Whoa. Anyway, you cannot go into watercolor expecting it to do everything you want it to do. You need to go into watercolor expecting to be loose. Being able to adapt
fancy or anything. I'm too tired to think about what I'm saying. Does that look okay? Kind of. Maybe I'll do it all the way across. Yay. World's quietest yay, my goodness. Okay, well that's actually probably not the world's most quietest yay. Anyway. I don't know if I'm gonna get to coloring the whole page today. I probably won't. Because again, I do have to get up early tomorrow so that I can drive. I do not want to cause an accident on the road because I was too sleepy to pay attention to where I was going. I feel like that teeter's really close to being a bad sound. Like a bad, evil sound. But it's not. It's just barely not a bad, evil sound. I'm gonna do another layer of the darker brown on the inside. Just to attempt to give it some more dimension. I know it should probably be lighter around where the fire is, but we are not following the 5 elements of highlight and shading. It's okay. You don't have to do that all the time. There are definitely some art teachers out there who disagree with me and are like, yes, you have to do the 5 elements of highlight and shading. 10 trillion% of the time, actually. And if you're not doing the 5 elements of highlight and shading 10 trillion% of the time, what are you even doing? No, seriously, what are you doing? Because clearly you're not studying the element, you know what I mean? I'm losing the plot. And I'm losing it so quickly, too. We're gonna go back to the yellow ochre so that I can do this bit here. Yeah, I guess it's okay that it looks almost exactly like the other one. Yeah, this video is already kind of long, so I don't think I'll get to finishing the whole drawing today. Or the whole coloring page. Sorry, my leg is really itchy. But I will finish this shelf. I think that's a potted plant. I'll do the shelf and then the potted plant. And then I'll go to bed. And I know I keep saying I'll go to bed and then, like, I'm still here, but, you know how it is. If you've ever, like, had one of those moments where there was cable playing, what the hell? The TV is on, and, like, a show you really like is on. And so you asked your parents, please, can I stay up to watch just one more episode? Or until this episode finishes, please. You know. Honestly,
Maybe I should be talking over this part so you're not hearing so much squeak, 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 squeak. Or maybe I should just do random ass mouth sounds. Again, I apologize for swallowing so close to the phone. It is not my intention. And the only reason I'm apologizing for swallowing close to the phone is because I'm not a huge fan of when people are right up in their microphone and they decide to swallow. I backed up to do it this time. Like, for example, I cannot watch mukbangs. Tragic, I know. But I genuinely cannot sit through a mukbang because I will actually be so sick to my stomach. Like, the sound of people being so close to their microphone and eating. I'm gonna stop describing it so much because maybe there's someone else here who hates mukbangs and is like, Damos, if you don't stop this, I'm gonna reach through the screen and punch you. But, yeah, mukbangs. Can't watch them. Real shame. But also, I don't know how I feel about the concept of them. Not that I think the people that do mukbangs are bad. It's just more of like a, I don't know. I feel like smaller, reasonable mukbangs where it's like a justifiable amount of food for one person to buy and to actually eat all of it without like it being a hazard to themselves. Those mukbangs I can get behind because it's like, oh, what the hell, you're just eating, you know? And if that's what's relaxing for some people, that's what's relaxing for some people. But on the other hand, I forgot. Oh yeah, you have those people who will do mukbangs where they buy enough food for like a small village and then they don't actually eat all of it. I mean, I have the very, very high hopes that they are saving the rest of that food as leftovers to eat at a later date. Excuse me again. But they're keeping that as leftovers for later. I have very high hopes that that is what they're doing. But at the same time, I don't know. Because how can you guarantee that every single one of them is, you know, gonna eat all of that food? Maybe after they do the mukbang, they go and share it with their family. I don't know. I hope one of those two things. Just as long as the food isn't, like, going to waste, you know? They buy, like, what I don't like is when they buy excessive amount of food just to get, like, a really impressive thumbnail, you know? Because, like, what video are you more likely to click on? Get into the mind of the average person, you know? Are you more likely to click on a video with, like, a normal-sized plate of dinner? Or are you gonna click on the video that has this, like, huge buffet spread of food? It follows this concept of, like, the idea that bigger is better. And bigger is not always better. Sometimes it's best to scale back, to do more reasonable amounts and portions and whatnot. I think that looks surprised at how little of this is actually bleeding onto the paper. I kind of wanted to have the full color page finished so that I could put that as the thumbnail, but I'm kind of tired and I do want to get out a video tonight, so I think I might just let the thumbnail be whatever my Photos app puts as the thumbnail to the video. We'll let fate decide instead of like taking a really good, nice thumbnail. I know, like, thumbnails are kind of how you sell your video, right? So if you have a nicer thumbnail, people are way more likely to click on your video. But on the other hand, I'm a very firm believer in the idea that okay, well, that was not the idea that I'm a firm believer of. I believe that having like a really simple, inviting thumbnail can also be really good. You know, because maybe some people are just looking for some nice, simple, kind of homey relaxation. If that makes any sense. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really know what I'm talking about. This is parrot green. This is parrot green. And what green is this? Dark green. Ooh. We're gonna do this one instead. And I want like a brick red almost. If I have that, you know, if I don't have that, that's okay too. A good plum pass as a brick red. Kind of. Okay, well, not brick red. Brick red isn't what I want. What I want is like a clay almost. I don't know why brick was the word that came to mind. Sorry, I know I'm testing colors off camera, so that's probably not very interesting. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. I think what I'll do is I might make this video a part 1 and part 2. Ooh, bars. And like, I'll record part 1 now. This is part 1. Part 1 is long as hell. I know. And then I'll do part 2 tomorrow when I come back from driving. Just so that it's like posted close enough together. Ooh, so sorry about that. I keep bumping the dang tripod. I need to get a more stable tripod, but this one was cheap and it was purple. So it was good enough for me when I bought it. That was really loud. I apologize for that. I think the freaking fumes of the markers are getting to me. Joking, of course, but also I am in a teeny tiny enclosed space. So it is very possible. Don't get me wrong. But start doing my outro in a second now. I probably just should have colored that one directly with the darker green, but oh well. I'm gonna do all of the leaves in this parrot green first, and then I'll switch over to doing some of them in that dark green that I have. I really like parrot green. It's actually a very nice color. I wonder what type of plant this is. It kind of looks like a succulent, although it doesn't. It has these big leaves, so I don't know. I don't know what it is. Again, plants are not my specific field of expertise. This has actually been so effective at being relaxing, for me at least, that I'm like, wow, I'm gonna turn off the camera and go straight to bed. This is amazing. Ooh, look at that. We're creating dimension. Sure, what the hell, why not? That's good enough. Oh, I almost want to go back and do that for the rest of the drawing, but that will have to wait for a later day. This is how far we got today. We got our two little kitties, Sammy and I already forgot. We're gonna name them Daffodil though. Because I forgot. I know it was some type of flower. Peony. No. Maybe it was peony. I don't remember. But we got these two done. We got their blanket, their pillows, and the fireplace shelf complex, along with this lovely adult-bodied plant. That is going to be all that we are doing tonight, though. I'm gonna lovely little image on the front. I hope that this was as relaxing for you as it was for me. My eyes feel super heavy. I hope that your eyes also feel so